So Alex, I wanted to talk to you not about triathlon to begin with, but about your running, because that's the background you come from, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, I actually started doing triathlon for triathlon. So, um, yeah, that was kind of my original background. But then I kind of found running a few years later, and I guess that was the sport that I really took to quite early on out of the three. And yeah, it went fairly well for the first few years of my career, and then I kind of reached this crossroad where I didn't so much have to decide, but maybe had to commit to one more than the other. So yeah.
And you decided to stick to triathlon.
Yeah. You guys were all right, so I decided to stick around, and I really enjoyed the challenge of triathlon. I think for me, like a lot of important people have asked me, like in 5 years, what do you imagine yourself doing when you wake up? And for me, it's swim, bike, and run. I think that's fundamentally what I really love doing and enjoy doing from day to day. So whether that means I'll be a triathlete forever or whether I do try and do some running at some point, for me, swimming, biking, and running is fundamentally what I'll always do.
And what is it about it you love?
I think it's the challenge. I think the fact that I really feel like I can, like I can, I don't know, do something in the sport, and I love pushing my body and seeing what I can do, and I feel like there's still a lot that I have to learn, even though I guess I've had a fairly good year last year. I still feel not like the finished product. I still, yeah, want to get better and have aspirations to do stuff not only from outcomes and races and stuff like that, but just within training and just within each individual discipline. So that excites me. That's what kind of gets me out of bed, I guess. And the fundamental thing is you get out of bed and do something. So yeah, that's my thing for me.
And over the three disciplines, where are the areas that you think you can improve?
So definitely to start with, at the moment, I'm looking at my swim and bike. Though we've just been talking about running. I still feel like I don't come up in a competitive enough place in the swim at the moment to really capitalize on my run and also my bike. So for me, I really want to not rely on like luck and yeah the way the race pans out to determine where I come, but yeah, I guess to be able to control my own destiny and be able to be competitive from any kind of scenario. So yeah.
Now, obviously, over the last couple of years, we've been kind of under the shadow of COVID. In Tokyo, you were there, you did pretty well, and you weren't able to have anybody from home coming and seeing. Obviously, you've got Leeds coming up soon. How much of a difference do you think that's going to make?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be massive. I think last year Leeds was the first race where we were allowed a crowd, and even though that was a limited crowd, it was probably the best kind of atmosphere and energy we got from any race that year, including the Olympics. So for me to be able to draw on that and draw on the home crowd and seeing people and yeah, just having that home advantage, I think is going to be really special, and I'm really excited, and it will be a great build up, I think, for Commonwealth Games as well later in the year, which will be really exciting as well.
Alex, obviously your life's gone through a hell of a transformation recently with the move to Loughborough. Like, how's that been?
Yeah, I think for me, COVID, though it was an awful time, had a massive impact on my life. First of all, the Olympics was delayed by a year, which I guess, though it was awful, played into my favour. And then also, over lockdown last year, I moved to Loughborough and changed my coaching setup, changed who I train with, and that's been massive for me, I think. Yeah, I guess being around Liv and my girlfriend and yeah, everyone else, I think it's been really beneficial for me, and I really feel like I've really benefited from that move. And I've sounds really bad, but being from Leeds, I've always thought I have the best running here, I have the best cycling. There's nowhere that's better than here, and I'd always dismiss Loughborough as, I don't know, it's a bit of a town. There's not really much going on, but when I came here and I trained here and gave it a chance, I absolutely loved it. The running here is amazing. The cycling's great as well, and you have so many brilliant facilities within the university campus that, yes, it's been perfect for me to kind of almost be on a training camp 24/7 in a way. I've absolutely loved it.
Obviously, living with Olivia now, do you feel like living with a fellow triathlete that's helped you develop a lot more, or focus more on the sport, spend more time in your day thinking about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think fundamentally when we go home, we're quite good at switching off from doing triathlon. I think that's also super important because you can obsess over things too much and fatigue yourself in that sense. But I think also just living with somebody who can help you get out of the door and motivate you and train by your side, I think super important. And I also live with two other great triathletes who I train with day in, day out, and those things make such a big difference. And for you to be able to bounce off each other and kind of help each other out, I think super important. And is a nice thing about triathlon is that you do so much aerobic training that it's almost social in a way, which is nice.
Well, that's got to be like, you've got to enjoy it, haven't you, I suppose? And it's the social side of things really important for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think it sounds really sad, but I guess you're in a way training's like your really enjoyable thing throughout the day. You're kind of the point where you see the most people. Like it's almost a little bit like your social life in a sense. And I hang out with a lot of the people that I train with outside of the sport as well. So I think it's nice that we have that kind of dynamic between all of us. So I think it's a good camaraderie, and we push each other on, we're competitive, and we get the best out of each other.
Now, do you come from a big sporting background? You got siblings that compete as well or train?
So my brother and sister also tried at triathlon and still do triathlon from time to time. My brother is super talented, but I just don't think he had that, that fire in his belly to just give it that like extra few percent.
You're aware he's probably watched this, right?
Yeah, and I'll probably say that now and absolutely smash me in a few weeks. But
who's better?
Me, but you always hear about the younger brother overcoming the older brother at some point. So hopefully that never happens. But yeah.
And whereabouts did you grow up? Because you didn't come from Leeds originally.
No, definitely not. I grew up in South London, so South East London was my home. Training out of Brockley, and Crystal Palace was kind of where I did a lot of my training. I'm a massive Crystal Palace football club supporter, so yeah, I'm massively proud of being from South London, and doing my best to kind of put it on the map and inspire others from that area to kind of take up running or triathlon or just get outdoors.
And growing up as a youngster, was that a part of the world that was easy for you to get involved with triathlon? Was it easy for you to train down there, or was it quite tough?
I mean, for me, I felt really lucky in the sense that I had my dad who also did duathlon, so he was part of a triathlon club, and in that sense I was able to get involved through that. And I also did a Chorus Kids of Steel race, which I don't think happens anymore, but the Brownie Foundation do a very similar thing with kind of exposing kids to triathlon at a very young age. And for me, the challenge of doing triathlon really excited me and really caught me. I did plenty of other sports, and like every kid, you start doing 10 different sports and then you kind of narrow yourself down, and triathlon was the one which really excited me, and I felt like I could do something, and I kept showing up and got to where I am today, I guess.
Now, this one thing I was thinking about, obviously, Alex, you're 24. Like, where do you think you're going to hit peak in terms of triathlon's performance? Like, where do you think there is a peak in performance and age-wise for triathletes?
It's so hard to say with a triathlete, just because of there's so many different factors which go into triathlon, whether that's how physiologically fit you are, how sharp you are as an athlete, how experienced you are, how race smart you are. But I definitely don't feel like I'm in my prime at the moment. I still feel like I have a lot of developing to do.
Still climbing that mountain.
I really feel like I am. Like I love turning up to training with the people I train with. They're all young, hungry, and hustling. And I feel the same. I still feel like I have a lot of unfinished business with triathlon and each individual discipline. I want to get better. I want to get faster, and I feel like I can. So hopefully I can show that on the race course in 1, 2, 10 years.
Well, we've got Leeds coming up in June, and we'll look forward to seeing how well you do there. Alex, thanks.
Yeah, thanks very much. Cheers.